Oh, what's going on, guys? Can everybody hear me okay? Let me know. Let me know. All right, cool. We're going to give a little bit of time for people to join in on the chat. So if you have some questions, I'll just answer some questions while we wait for people to join in before we do the giveaway. So write them in the chat. I'm going to grab a drink. I'll be right back. Oh my God. You know what honestly looks great? I've got stuff to make mimosas in the refrigerator, and I'm super close to making a mimosa. But I'll just go with a beer for now. Mimosa sounds incredibly refreshing right now. Excuse me. I've got to get a better bottle opener in here. Oh, I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. I think I'm going to rearrange the camera a little bit. My workbench is just covered in shit, so I don't have a lot of room to put it there, but we're going to try and make some room. I apologize this evening. I am exhausted, man. We had a huge day. Then I made the mistake of having a few beers while we were out and coming home and working out, and that was, you know, that's always good to do, so pushed it a little too hard. All right, let's see here. Let's see if this works out. There's a crazy delay on the video, so I'm trying to see what this looks like. Oh, that's like way too close. And it won't let me do like a widescreen type of a thing. That works out though. Not too shabby. Clean the lens here. All right. I'm going to go through the video or the questions here. All right. Jim Jack asks, have you ever had an issue with the intake manifold solenoid? I'm not exactly sure what you're talking about, Jim. So explain which solenoid you're thinking about. Are you talking about the solenoid that's on the back of the supercharger that controls the flaps under vacuum? If so, I've never had an issue with the actual solenoid. I've had issues with vacuum lines having leaks. I have heard that the solenoid can go bad. So, you know, there's that. There might be an issue. So, yeah, what exactly is going on in your car? That might help us narrow it down a little bit. Wayne asks, looking for an air intake. What do you recommend? Depends on how much money you want to spend. If you go through my videos, I've got some videos on doing a DIY intake for 3OT, and it works great, sounds awesome, and it's cheap. It's like all parts in nowadays. I think it's like $190, $200. If you want a piece of art that looks amazing and performs amazing, Garage Auto Sports has a beautiful titanium intake for our cars. I can't recommend them highly enough. So those are the two. After that, if you want a silicone intake, it won't be as loud as those other ones. Integrated Engineering has a really good one, so check those guys out too. And then Canadian Auto Performance is in the process of modifying their intake. They're going to come out with a larger intake as well. They have some pretty cool stuff coming out in the future, so keep an eye on them as well. You missed electric, you know, you can ask Matt anything you want to. He should be in the chat, by the way. He said he was going to join in on the chat. So for all of you who are not paid members, this giveaway is for paid members only. You're more than welcome to hang out and shoot the shit with us while we're in here. But if you look at this chat, you see all these people with stars next to their names. Those are all paid channel members. It's $5 a month, which goes directly to helping the channel keep bringing you guys content. I have some big plans coming up within the next year that I'm saving money for, including converting my car to a turbo. We're going to eventually send the car down to Alex at AM Tuned and let him do his custom turbo kit on it. And that ain't cheap, especially with all the supporting mods I'm going to have to put together. So every little bit helps, and I truly do appreciate all of my channel members that are in here that have been continuing to support the channel. Like, thank you guys seriously so much. And having you guys in the private Telegram chat is a ball. I love watching you guys help each other more than I really help you guys in there. It's great, but I love shooting the shit in there with you guys. So thank you to all of you guys. All right, let's see here. Randy Wilson. While I sold my 2018 A7 2 months ago, still the content and watched. Hey, thanks, Randy. I appreciate that, man. You know, you never know what we're going to have on the channel in the future. I plan on always having my A6, at least for a very long time, but hopefully one day we'll be able to do some other fun projects. So Jim Jack said, change the flaps, and the rail is still throwing the code. The flaps aren't opening, but I know they're working fine. So Jim, one of the notorious things you may or may not be aware of, when you're putting the intake manifold down, if you don't push the flaps down as you seat it to the engine, they get stuck above the bar that they kind of like rest against underneath. So they can't open all the way. So make sure that that was pushed down before you seated it to the engine. If you didn't do that, when you get back in there, you just have to loosen your bolts a little bit. You don't have to take them all the way out and completely remove the manifold. You just got to loosen the bolts a little bit, wiggle it up a little bit, push it down, and then seat it down again. Other than that, yeah, you might have a solenoid issue, you might have a vacuum line issue, or you might have the vacuum lines in the back of the supercharger crossed. They might not be plugged into the correct solenoid, so check all that out. Mike Hazer, if you don't want to pay $5 a month, that's cool, man. Don't know why it bums you out. I'm not forcing you to do it. We have some really cool perks for doing it. We already did a really big group buy with Canadian Auto Performance that a bunch of people got some really awesome stuff at a really killer price. I'm not like a lot of other channels that has multiple tiers. I just have one tier. It's $4.99 a month. You know, if you don't want to join, that's totally cool. No big deal. But for those of you that do, I certainly appreciate it. It helps me out. What's up, Boogeyman? Yeah, it's all up to Matt. You guys, whoever wins, if you don't need the actual tune or the tune, you know, if you have a 4OT, because technically it's 403OT, but Matt's a good dude, so talk with him and we'll see what happens. I'm sure he'll work something out with whoever wins. All right, so Ray MTB question. I like to upgrade my control arms and links, etc. Any good brand? So control arms, I'm about to do that myself. I need to replace all my control arms. I had the 034 Motorsport Street Density, and they've all failed. They failed within about 4.5 years. They have a lifetime warranty on them now, but 034 is not honoring a lifetime warranty with me. But I don't want to put those back on my car again anyways, so I'm probably just going to go with the Miley, like the, you know, OEM quality ones, and I'll probably get them from FCP Euro to have a lifetime warranty on those because, you know, I'm going to keep this car for a while. But what was the other part of that question? Hold on. Control arms and end links. End links, TGK Motorsports, one of our really good friends there, Tyler Kirst, he makes some really good end links. You've got Eurocode that makes some good ones. Those two, you know, can't go wrong with either of them. All right, let's see here. Doc says, got 2 rear diffusers from Cap Group Buy, and it was great. Do you have 2 cars to put them on, Docs? That's awesome. Okay, Wayne asked about a muffler delete. What are the benefits and negatives? Benefits, none. Negatives, you're going to increase drone on your exhaust, and it's not going to sound great. If you want a louder exhaust and you just want to do something with the mufflers, then I would swap them at least with like vibrant, ultra quiet resonator or something like that. But if you delete those, if you eventually go catless, you put in test pipes, or if you modify any of the rest of your exhaust, it's going to sound atrocious. So I would not just delete the mufflers, especially if you plan on doing something further with it later down the road. I appreciate all the support there, guys. Don't beat him up about it too bad. It's all good, man. Timothy asked about the power flex bushing setup. I mean, I could do that, I suppose, but I still have to replace my control arms because the ball joints at the end are still screwed up, so I'm going to still have to buy new control arms no matter what. What I'd love to do is get these and try and save some money and get the TGK mono ball fittings or bushings that replace most of them. That's, you know, that's got a good price tag to it too, but that would be great because that would be one and done, and unless the ball joints really go bad, I wouldn't have to worry about it again. So maybe I'll look into doing that. All right, Docs, I hear you, man. All right, my boosted German fleet. Previous owner installed ECS spherical control arms on my C7 30K on them. So far, they've been great. Cool. Yeah, that's good. JXB Performance also makes spherical control arms, spherical bushings, just like TGK's come out with. They're like different, a little bit different setups, but with ECS, I'd probably rather spend the money on JXB or TGK over ECS, but that's just my personal opinion. But I'm glad they're working well for you. That's awesome. Okay, so Ryan Hanneman got a 2012 A7, left wheel feels loose when going over bumps. When you say feels loose, do you feel like suspension movement, like travel? Do you feel that? Like, and can you hear like kind of like a sound, like as if something's like hitting something else? Because if so, that could very well likely be your control arms going bad. If your control arms are bad, you're going to hear that a lot. Could be potentially strut mount bushing somewhere in the drivetrain there, or I'm sorry, somewhere in the suspension there in front. These cars are notorious for control arms going bad. So that would be the first spot I looked at. And then the end link for your sway bar, I would check that as well when you're in there. All right. No, there is no benefit to the APR ignition coils. Stick with OEM. Just make sure you have the correct spark plugs, whatever your tuner recommends, and make sure they're gapped correctly. So Nick asked about the PCV relocation. I've had it done now for I think 2 years, no issues. I love it. So I mean that's 2 years, and the guy that I saw do it first, he's had it done for at least 3 years, if not a little bit longer, and he's got no issues. The only thing that I might do is I might look at trying to get an upgraded check valve like PCV, like, you know, the diaphragm that we relocate out of the engine. I might look at trying to replace that with a little bit more stout of a unit for like race applications, just because of what I plan on doing with the car. But otherwise, I'm really happy with the PCV relocation. It makes life a lot simpler on multiple fronts, and I don't have to worry about the OEM plastic housing cracking and mixing coolant with my engine oil. So I'm really happy with it. It's an Oktoberfest. I got a whole thing of them in there. I grabbed a case of them before they went out. I love these things. I love my October fall beers. Docs, I haven't had a CV boot leakage. They make CV boot replacement kits. Now the trick is you need to replace it before you lose the grease, because if you lose the grease, then it's pretty much going to shoot, you know, your axles. So if you catch it early, you can obviously do that. But if you wait too long, you just need to replace the whole axle. Madman horsepower. Currently, I don't know. Before I blew up my engine on a stock supercharger on a 93 tune, 161,000 miles on the car, 205 millimeter single oversized crank pulley. So about a, what is that? A 3.2 pulley ratio, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I put down, I used to have it up here. It's covered by my gloves. I put down 423 or 427 all-wheel horsepower on a dyno jet. That was with Jackal. With a 034, I tested it the same day. It was a little bit less, but yeah, so at that point it was that way. Now I've got the built engine in there. A lot of people think that just because there's a built engine in there means that it's going to be, you know, way more horsepower, and that's not the case. In fact, I've probably lost a little bit of horsepower because I went down a half a point on my compression. So on the OEM supercharger, probably lost a little bit of horsepower overall, but brand new refreshed engine should be running extremely well. Also, I've changed my pulley ratio. Now I've got a 57 millimeter grip tech pulley with 191 millimeter crank pulley. So I've got that golden 3.3 ratio. I will be running water meth on it eventually. Maybe we might throw nitrous on it just to have some fun before we do some other things. Hoping to test the Merc Racing MRA 1900 again on it sometime in the near future. That's up to Jose. We got to see. He's doing some testing on his car and whatnot. Right now, he doesn't have a spare supercharger laying around, but if he gets one, maybe we'll throw it on there and see what we can do with the built engine. But like I said, I'm saving all year this year. I'm picking up all my OT shifts that I can, penny pinching, so I can send the car down to AM Tune to put this thing in the 750 wheel horsepower range, hopefully. So that'll be a lot of fun. All right, Junior Fab asks, he's got a 2013 A630T at hot idle. I get a really fast tapping noise on the driver's side head. That's not a worn out tensioner. If it's like a tat 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 and it kind of comes and goes, almost like a clicking sound. There's a solenoid on the back of your supercharger, and it's a black one, cylindrical, kind of comes to a point, and it's connected to a vacuum line. That's called an evap solenoid, and that's making that noise. Mine's super loud. I don't know if it's going bad or not. I don't have any issues with it, but yeah, that tat 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 tat. If it's about that speed, that's your evap solenoid, and that's normal. What's up, Nick Chang? Yeah, man, I try to do live streams at decently often. I wouldn't say I do them consistently, but I do like my live streams. They're a lot of fun to interact with you guys. All right, still here. Kyle says, have you ever had a rubbing noise or anything coming from what may be the brakes? I had my brakes done like 6 months ago and just started hearing the sound. Does it sound like a metallic, like a scraping sound almost? I'm not sure. I mean, someone could have easily done the brakes wrong and got something in there that's, you know, rubbing on your rotors. Might be worth taking your wheel off and inspecting things, make sure it doesn't look like there's anything gouging. Jim Jack, yeah, so if you're still throwing codes after getting the flaps down correctly, then I would check your vacuum hose alignment in the back of the supercharger. And after that, you might need to replace the solenoid. And don't forget, there's the solenoids in the back. You also have solenoids in the front of the car, kind of sitting underneath the supercharger. They're black solenoids that those vacuum lines connect to. Those are the ones that are on your intake manifolds, and those actually are the ones that actuate those flaps. So just inspect all that stuff, man. And yeah, suited up to the nines. That's Josh Marshall. Yeah, I've known him for a very long time. He's got a badass C7. He's got the Magnuson supercharger on there, the one that APR made, and he's right now the current quarter mile holder for C7 A6s. So yeah, we're very familiar with Josh. Homie 911 full. Am I able to run distilled water with water wetter, or with water without a divorce loop if I don't live in freezing temps? Just want to make sure I get the best cooling. It's not recommended. You definitely need actual antifreeze in your water for your engine, because it acts as a lubricant and keeps things clean. So I would not advise it. If I were you, I would just go ahead and save up some money and get the thing distilled, or I'm sorry, get your supercharger loop divorced. Merc Racing is about to have a whole new batch of their divorce canisters come in, so look out for their website. They should have them in stock soon. Iceman, no problem, dude. That's what I'm here for. There you go. Jackal just chimed in on that coolant question. So everybody, Matt from Jackal Motorsports is in the house. Everyone say hey. All right, so Docs, supercharger pulley, 57mm, 184 crank pulley there. Yep, so about 3.2-ish. Yeah, somewhere around there. If you want the 3.3 ratio, I mean, I think every car that's in the 10s, they all have 3.3 ratio. So it depends on what you're trying to do. If you like your car as it is, going from the 3.2 to a 3.3 is not going to be a mind-melting difference. You honestly probably won't feel it in your day-to-day travels. But you know, if you're going and trying to push for records and really trying to push the car and optimize it, it might be worth it to you. So, you know, you can always sell the 184 millimeter pulley and go towards, you know, like after you replace it and, you know, recoup some of the cost. But it depends on you if it's worth it or not, if you want to go for that. Yep, I knew who's doing the 3.2 stroker. There's another guy that has a stroker on there that's already running. That's Sean Kurowski, and he's posted some videos on the forums here recently. AM Tune has the stroker kit available now as well, because those guys, they're using used 3.2 crankshafts and things like that. If I were going to go 3.2 stroker kit, I would definitely go through AM Tune. It's going to be more expensive, but that crankshaft is going to be professionally balanced. It's going, like, you won't have to worry about it. It's going to to do what it's supposed to do, and you're not have to worry about having a used part in there that, I mean, you can maybe take it to a machine shop to inspect, but Alex is a master of his craft. My car runs smoother than it did, you know, than most cars with like 20,000 miles on it do. If I were to ever do it, I would go that way. BKODRAJ, thanks, man. Glad you're here. Yeah, STL there. AM Tuned he has built more performance Audi engines than anyone else in North America. If I'm mistaken on that, Matt, correct me. He also has the world's highest horsepower 4.2 Audi engine with his bespoke turbo kit. I think it's 1,100 wheel horsepower, and I know he's working on something to try and top that with his own car. Madman77, I don't have any input on the JHM DSJ aluminum flywheel. That's just because I don't have a DSG car. I got a ZF8, so I haven't messed with it at all. I do go, like, you know, when I'm looking at forums, JXB from, or I'm sorry, Jay Blanchard from JXB, I would just search his name in the forums and see what he recommends for flywheel. I know JHM is a great company. I know, like, one of those guys, well, kind of person, I chat with him all the time. He's in a couple group chats, and they're great dudes over at JHM. So I'm sure if it's their product and they're putting it out, then it's going to be a good product. But when it comes to the B8s and DSG upgrades, that's not my forte. A little bit lacking in knowledge there. All right, so right here, I got the P0018 code, 2-second chain run on startup. Both sensors are good. Fresh oil, no misfires, still gets perfect gas mileage. Anything else I need to look for? Ryan, remind me what the P0018 code is. I usually Google those real quick on my phone. I'm using that to film. So which one is that? Thank you, Matt. All right. I am going to look a couple things up real quick to get ready for the giveaway. I'll be using a random number generator online to pick the winner. Remember, this is for channel members only, but I have to verify how many people. Oh boy, I might have just went off the wrong. Oh, there it goes. Cool. Your channel. I talk out loud when I do things, if you guys didn't know that. Kyle, reference your brakes thing. It might not be your brakes then. It might be something else, man. You know, did you get your Audi tech in it and drive with him in the car so he could hear it, or did he just inspect it? Ryan, with the camshaft bank 2 sensor, is it the electrical circuit code, or is it like a value code or anything like that? I'm trying to think of like what they're actually called. I forget what that is, but and when you say both sensors are good, have you replaced them? Because if you haven't replaced them, I would definitely grab an OEM one and replace it just to try that, because I had some issues with my sensors and the sensors were good, but it ended up being the actual sensor, and I replaced it with an OEM one, and it works just fine now. Jim Jack, if you look at, I don't know if you're on an iPhone. If you're on an iPhone, you won't see the join button on the video. iPhone doesn't play well with YouTube, so you'd have to get on a computer browser or a Android device and go to any of my videos or the main channel, and there's a button besides subscribe. There's a button that says join, and you would click that, and it'll walk you through the steps. STL, if you, I mean, USP is great. They just had, you know, they had a lot of people run in and buy a bunch of Rova because they're doing an awesome contest right now, where anytime you order Rova through USP, you get entered for a possible all expenses paid trip for you and a friend to go to the 24 hours of spa overseas, including fare, like flights, everything. So they're probably out of stock, to be honest. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think Jackal might have bought as much as he could. But yeah, you can also buy Rova through TGK Motorsports, and I think you can buy it. I'm not sure, Matt, can you buy it through the Jackal website? Do you guys have it for sale, or are you guys just keeping it for your warehouse or for your shop? All right. Give me 1 sec, guys. Trying to find this information that I need here. Promise I will be with you guys in just one moment. I'm trying to find the full number of, like, the most current number of memberships, so I know how many I need to pick out for the giveaway here. Let's see here. One thing this year, I am buying a new laptop. I need something a lot faster. Okay. All right, cool. We have a total of 57 members. So I'm going to plug that in here. 57. Okay, I have the number generated. I'm going to move this around so you can see this. Well, here, let me move this around. So if you can see here, I just did the generation 25. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the member list, and I'm going to count from the first person who ever joined up and find who number 25 is. Let's see here. See your members. All right, boys, stand by one. Let's see here. Come on, computer. All right, let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh my gosh, man, I do not know why this thing wants to be such a pain in the butt. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like not letting me sit here on the thing. All right, hold on one second. I'm counting right now. All right, the computer's being stupid, so I'm gonna have to use my phone for a second. Give me one moment. I'll let you guys look at my beautiful garage while I do this. I don't know if this is... Okay, I'm back. Okay, so I've got the winner. Let me make sure you guys can hear me again. You guys can hear me? Yeah, sorry, it froze because I had to jump off of the actual streaming app and come back. Okay, so the winner is Todd Henson. Todd Henson, I don't know if you're in the chat, but Todd Henson is the winner. Let's see here. I'm going to, I wish I could like type it in there and save it. Let's see here. Todd, I believe it was Henson. Mad Scientist, I literally just refreshed the list right after I picked the number and I counted up off the number. So, hold on, we'll see here. Yeah, I don't know who Todd is either. So if Todd doesn't claim it within the next, I'll give Todd a week. If Todd doesn't claim it in the next week, if I don't hear from him, then I will do this again and we'll go for someone else. Okay. So, unfortunately, the one thing about the membership thing is I don't have like an email with him or anything, so I can't like email him out. Is the auto bugging out? Give me one second. I'll try and fix the auto. Hang on. Hold on one sec, guys. Technology. All right. All right, guys, tell me how this sounds, all right? Todd Henson, if you're in the chat, make sure you send me a message, okay? So we can get you set up. All right, cool. So congratulations to Todd. Let me go back up and check y'all's questions real quick. Let me see here. Hey, Jim, I just let you join. Thanks, dude. Welcome to the channel. And Nick Chain, you too. Both of you guys, make sure you DM me because I've got a private Telegram chat that all my channel members can get in and interact with. That's how I announce giveaways. That's how we announce group buys. And plus, it's a great source of just being able to connect with other members. People that are really, really knowledgeable on the platform are in there. Plus, we have a bunch of channel partners that are in there. Matt from Jackal, we got Jose from Merc Racing. We've got a bunch of really good people in there. So send me an email, send me a DM on Facebook or Instagram, and I'll get you the link for that. All right. I'm scrolling back up here to make sure I didn't miss anything important here. All right, George Nursis, I can't pronounce that name. C7A7 getting a thump jerk on startup and park, only when the motor is at operating temperature. Doesn't happen every time, but it's doing more often now. Haven't experienced that myself. Typically, motors jerking around is motor mount issues, and when you can have motor mount issues, they can exacerbate control arm issues. If you're tuned at all, I would try and data log it and send it to your tuner and see if there's anything weird going on that startup. But I'm not really sure. Maybe somebody else has experienced that. Homie, my APR crank pulley was just fine. It wasn't, I got that one originally for free. Somebody messed up and bought it, and it just ended up at a friend's house. He's like, I have no use for this. You can have it. He didn't pay anything for it, and so that's why I put that on originally. But I would not, if I had to do it all over again, I would not buy that one because that one just slips over the OEM crank pulley, and that thing will eventually go bad. So you want to get a solid one-piece crank pulley. All right, there we go. Jackal is going to be distributing Rova. That's awesome. Rova the world. Heck yeah, Cream Team. That's a great name, by the way. But yeah, awesome, dude. The ZF8 transmission fluid change and filter change is not the easiest in the world, but totally doable at home. All right. Boogeyman, yeah, I'm going to eventually have to get a new laptop. This thing is old, slow. I need something different. Let's see here. Mad scientist, you're always up to crazy stuff. Yeah, so Guilty Spark Files, we do member-only giveaways, not for just normal subs, but for like the paid channel membership, which like Jim Jack just joined, it's $5 a month. I have members only, like we did this one because we hit 50 channel members. So at 100 channel members, I'll do another giveaway. And I've got stuff from Can Auto Performance. We can do stuff from Merc Racing. I'll probably do another Jackal giveaway later on in the year, maybe, just depending on how things go. But we also do member-only group buys and things like that. So there's a lot of perks. If you go to my channel and you look at the membership, it'll actually list the majority of the perks. But if you have any questions, you can shoot me a message. I see that. All right, let's see here. I'm trying to get caught up. I'm like way back here. And Docs, no, there's no way for you to check your member number, but it does show how long you've been a member. And one cool thing, I'm finalizing this right now. Once you're a channel member for 3 months, then I will mail you an Audi C7 Owners sticker. You can't get them anywhere else. This is the only way to get an Audi C7 Owners sticker, and a lot of people want them. We're about to do our first batch order with those because we got a few people that have hit the 3-month mark. So that's a pretty special one there because there's only about 5 cars in the country that have an Audi C7 Owners sticker on them. So that's one thing that's going to start happening as well. But you can see how long you've been a channel member, and that's what you can look at. All these people with the stars next to their name, they have different color stars. That denotes different lengths of time that they've been a channel member. All right, let's see here. And yeah, Docs, that's correct. Okay, I'm getting through the freeze. I swear I'm getting caught up here. Like I said, this computer sucks. It's old. I'm just going to scroll back and get caught up with the newest stuff. Matt Palanch, sorry, I hope I didn't just butcher that name. Thank you for joining, man. Looking forward to having you as a member as well. Make sure you send me a message on Instagram or Facebook so I can get you that Telegram chat as well. Yeah, Mad Scientist, go ahead, man. Throw it up there, see if anybody in there wants to join. Music, yeah. I don't know. I like to keep it random because I don't want to ever be seen as like tipping the scales, so to speak. You know, you never know. You never know what will happen. All right, Timothy, I'll probably do that, man. I'll probably pick up another Fresh Labs air freshener as part of a giveaway sometime soon. But those of you that don't know, we've got custom Audi C7 Owners air fresheners that you can buy from a company called Fresh Labs, FRSH. SLABS. They actually have it on there. You can go buy it right now. I think it's like 25 bucks. The thing's awesome. I love it, and it smells really good. So I'm trying to think of some things that's going on right now to tell you guys about. Merc Racing is finalizing his intake adapter. This is the adapter that we designed for those of you with the PCV relocation, because we found that a lot of the throttle body kits that just utilize a spacer plate and adapter plate don't work because it pushes your throttle body out right on top of your timing cover and you can't really get an intake on there depending on how wide it is. So this adapter is similar to the APR ultracharger adapter. It's going to come out and over the timing cover and out. We're trying to design it to be universal for B8s, C7s, everything. We know for sure it fits C7s. I'm getting one in the mail. I'm getting a 3D printed one in the mail, I think on Monday. I'm going to test it on a B8, and I'm going to try and find a local facelift C7 to get that tested just to make sure. But it has a port for your PCV relocation return line, so you can get rid of the throttle body spacer. You can just connect it directly to this. It's got a water meth injection port on there. I'll be bench testing that here. And then the opening at the throttle body is 90 millimeters, and it scopes down to 80 millimeters at the supercharger. So you should not need to port it out like other adapters. It should fit most ports that are done on a OEM supercharger. So a lot of good stuff there for you guys on that one. And the pre-order for that is open right now. So I think it's going to cost like $250, and right now you can get it for $230. And we got links to that on our Instagram, and it's on Merc Racing's website. So if you're looking for something to do a DIY throttle body job, you can do that because you can buy that. You can go on eBay, spend $40 on a used throttle body, get someone to make you a cable, or you can make one yourself, and you've got a really nice throttle body kit done for what, like 300 bucks compared to 500, 600. So not bad. Yeah, I know. I got to get Adam down here too because Matt wants me to film a video putting their fuel line kit for the Crec engine on. So that's him coming down here is definitely in the books. Damien, yeah, still got the PCV relocation set up. It's working great. I also got in the mail today, I got a split second controller, which is what we use to run a multi-port injection kit. I don't have the multi-port injection kit yet, but hopefully I will have my hands on one of those in the very near future. I do have one of the German Performance Solutions thermostats sitting in the house. That'll be going on the car soon, and I'll be filming a DIY video and doing the thermostat job, so I look forward to that coming out. Got a video coming out tomorrow. It's a short video, but I installed a TGK Motorsports drive shaft tunnel brace, which if you get an aftermarket exhaust, they typically hang lower. They're larger exhausts and they just hang a little bit lower, and they'll hit that OEM brace because it's just a flat bar. So this brace comes out and then dips down a little bit, gives you room so you don't have that crazy exhaust rattle. So I've got that in there, or that's going to be out tomorrow at 10 a.m. But if you're a channel member, you can see those videos pretty much as soon as I post them and get them online. I make them available for my channel members before they go live to the public, so to speak. Yeah, so yeah, Matt is going to send me that correct fuel line kit, and we'll get it done on Adam's car, and we'll film a video for it eventually. Yeah, I mean, changing your PCV, it's not bad, and doing the relocation, it's worth it. It's a little bit more costly on the front end. I mean, but not by much. But then on the back end, because I mean, before I did the relocation, I had to replace my PCV 3 times. Plus, there's a constant worry in your mind that the OEM housing could crack and mix coolant with your oil, and I hate that feeling. So when you do the relocation, we eliminate that problem altogether. It keeps your intercooler cores and your supercharger way cleaner because you're routing the return line away from the bottom of the supercharger, and you're routing it out and back into the intake system. Now, if you don't put a catch can, you'll probably still get some of that oil vapor going into the supercharger. So I highly suggest running a catch can. Just remember, in the winter, if you live in really freezing temperatures that your car sees, you need to bypass the catch can during the winter so it doesn't freeze up. Timothy, I am going to do my best to be at Low Show. I've got the days off around it. I'm definitely doing Helen. I'll be at Alpine Volks Fair, but I'll only be there Friday, Saturday, Sunday this year. I'm not there the whole week like I usually am. In fact, if you're going to Alpine Volks Fair, Rova is the co-sponsor of it, and they're heading it up. They're the co-sponsor of the big body Audi meet, which is the one that I usually run, but it's on Thursday, and I'm not getting there till Friday because I'm doing some other stuff with my son on Thursday. So I will not be at the big body Audi meet, unfortunately, but there'll be a bunch of other really cool people there. So make sure you're there if you're in Helen for that. But Low Show, I want to go. I want to go bad. I've got the days off surrounding it. So I'm going to try my best to be there. All right, guys, let's see here. Yeah, Dubs at the Lake is a good one. I've heard about that one. I've heard a lot about that one. Yep, I think. Hey, Matt, if you're still in here, isn't that where is Dubs at the Lake where you met Ken from Rova, or was that a different show? Jim, how did it get damaged, man? Yes, it is F1 season. Don't say anything, please, in the chat about qualifying or anything else. I haven't watched qualifying. I watched through FP3 last night, and then I was busy with family all day today. So once we get done with this, I'm literally going in there watching qualifying, and midnight should roll around for the actual race. So I am super stoked. For those of you who don't know, I'm a massive F1 fan, and I'm so happy it's back. You know, I've been jonesing for it. Okay, all right, Matt. Low disk space, old ass computer. I just found out that I've got a friend of mine. I'm having to relocate my downstream oxygen sensors with the headers that are on here. Whole different story there, but I have to relocate them. And the guy that's going to do it, he's a big JDM guy. He's got crazy high horsepower Civics and stuff like that. Builds like legit race cars. And he posted a video just very nonchalantly on his Facebook today. He's like, "Oh, we got this guy. It's gonna go to TX2K. It's a V10 twin turbo R8 that he built like here recently, and it just put down 1100 wheel horsepower." I'm like, wait a minute, where did that come from? So I'm hoping I get a peek at that thing. Oof. Did the trash truck pay to get it fixed? If you guys have any other questions, hit me up, guys. Like I said, I'm going to go in and watch F1 in a little while. So if you guys have any questions about cars, about the channel, about me, about anything, like, I don't care. Just throw questions around. Doesn't bother me at all. Man, all week long I've been kind of planning the road to getting the car back down to Alex with AM Tune for the turbo conversion. I've just been, you can ask Matt, I've been hitting him up, talking about supporting mods, things like that, and just it's kind of wild because like I sat down at the end of like getting everything kind of put together for a game plan, and I sat down like, I'm about to spend a whole lot of money on the car again. That it's kind of scary, but man, when it gets done, it's going to be insanity. It's going to be absolutely insane. We're going to open the engine back up again because I don't know if many of you are familiar. I have an AM Tune built engine, when he was building it, it was right before Alpine Volksfire of last year, he put in the Wagner head studs, the upgraded Wagner tuning head studs. He put those in, torqued them all down correctly, put them into the engine, decided to call it a night, didn't put the camshafts in. He just like put it in there, put plastic over the engine, went home. Came back the next day, the plastic that was on the engine was on the ground and there was this piece of metal on the ground. Turns out that the Wagner head stud snapped and launched out of the engine. Thank God the camshafts weren't in, because had he completed putting the camshafts and everything in, he never would have seen it and would have packed it all up. I would have gotten the engine back to me, put it in the car, cranked up, and had a catastrophic failure that would have destroyed the engine, and I would have cried and burnt the car to the ground. But in any case, we found out Wagner actually did their due diligence. They inspected it, put it under a microscope, and found a microscopic piece of rust on the side where the crack started, and that had nothing to do with us. It just, that happens sometimes. But in any case, that would be a big limiting factor if we turbo the car, limited by the OEM head bolts. So we'll be opening it back up again to put the upgraded head studs in and change the head gasket and then put it all back together. On top of that, something I didn't realize, I've got the Canaldo Performance headers on the car. I'm going to have to take those off so that Alex can put the OEM manifolds back on and create a custom exhaust to connect to the turbo and everything. So car's going to go under the knife in a big way. We'll have to do upgraded low pressure fuel pump, MPI kit, bunch of just fun stuff. I'm super, super excited, but yeah, I can't wait for that. Not going to sleeve it. If we were going to sleeve it, we'd have to redo the entire engine. So right now, I mean, the only thing with the sleeve is that there might just be a little bit of oil blow by under wide open throttle. Excuse me, it's not a big deal as it is. Only under wide open throttle do I see just a little bit, but my catch can stays mostly clean. It barely collects much oil vapor at all and seems to be running really, really healthy. So excited to get the O2 sensors relocated so I can fix my fuel trim issue that I got going on and start to really have fun with the car. Plus sleeves are another $3,000 on top of all the labor to break it down and get that done. Damian Jackson, yes, I do have a video showing how to replace the timing cover gasket. It's actually one of my recent videos. It's a video. It's literally like replacing timing chain, or I'm sorry, replacing a camshaft adjuster and camshaft tensioner, and I go into it on that one. The best piece of advice I can say is remove the oil filter housing and get everything back there as out of the way as you can. Use zip ties to tie up harnesses and get it all out of the way. It's not a fun job. I've done it now twice on the engine. I'm pretty good at it now. It's definitely doable. The hardest part that you're going to have, though, is if you have your OEM catalytic converters and if you have the secondary air intake system still intact, so your combi valves, that's going to make your life a whole lot harder in terms of doing it while it's in the car, because you're going to have to drop down your OEM catalytic converters to access this shield to remove the bolts for your combi valves and get those out of the way before you can even touch the bolts on the timing cover. So good luck with that. Yeah, Mario Moliere, he was doing a bunch of projects. I don't know if a lot of people know, but Mario passed away, I believe, last week, unexpectedly. Rest in peace to Mario. And unfortunately, that really sucks. He was a big force in the community for sure. It's very, very unfortunate. Hey, welcome to the C7 family, Mosiah. You're going to love that car, man. Once you know what to look for, once you know the pitfalls and the maintenance issues, and you get a handle of those, they're great cars. They're super easy to work on for the most part. So good luck, man, and let me know if you need anything. Yeah, it's a live stream. You know, it is what it is. I'm having fun with it. If you're hearing a squeal, Nick, depending on the squealing, if it's a constant squeal when it's not under load, that could be PCV. And if you open up your oil cap and the squeal goes away, it's definitely your PCV. Otherwise, it could be a belt issue. Could even come down to like needle bearings going bad in your supercharger. There's a bunch of different things like that. Unfortunately, I'd have to see the car in person to diagnose it. So if you can't figure it out, definitely take it to a shop, because if it's squealing, something's not right. Yeah, STL, it's Super sad. In fact, Matt from Jackal and Tony from Jackal are very close with him. He lived up there by them, so unfortunate loss for the community. Yeah, dude, Saipan, yeah, absolutely. The D4 A8 with a 3OT. They've got the ZF8 in it, so obviously, you know, there might be some suspension components that translate between the two, just a bigger car, but yeah, it's going to be super similar on a lot of things, especially the engine. So I'm glad it's helping you on that one as well. Messiah, if you don't want to, like, you don't have to drain your coolant. All I do when I do the timing covers, or I'm sorry, not timing covers, valve covers, is the reservoir. Getting it out of the way makes life 10 times easier. So I just get a siphon and I siphon as much fluid out of the actual overflow reservoir as I can. And I disconnect that and move it out. I don't actually drain the coolant from the engine though. I just drain enough out of that to be able to pull it out. And then I drain some, like where it plugs into the hose, I drain it out there and I shove a rag in there. That way it's out of the way and it makes life 10 times easier doing the work on the valve cover gasket on that side. I mean, honestly, I would hate life trying to do it without it. So remove that reservoir, and then when you put it back on, you just got to top it off. You don't have to bleed it or anything like that. Yes, I've been the Merc Racing heat exchanger, absolutely. And if you can, you know, flip for it, get the upgraded one, the S6 4OT heat exchanger, the big one. I've never done an install on a D4S8, but I'm assuming you're gonna have plenty of room to put it in there behind the bumper. And Saipan, check out my DIY video on creating a DIY 4-inch intake. You should be able to apply that to your car, and it's going to perform just like any of the top line intakes, and it's going to sound awesome. Yeah, Merc Racing heat exchanger is the best #1 mod you can do for your cooling. Second after that, divorcing the coolant loop and running a higher mix of distilled water to antifreeze if you're not in a cold weather environment. Those are the two most just impactful things you can do to control your IATs. Zave, I think you should not consider that trash and get the Merc Racing heat exchanger. Everybody, think about it this way. Everyone measures their heat exchangers against Merc Racing. So why wouldn't you just buy the Merc Racing heat exchanger? Not to mention, Jose is a massive dude in the company who is constantly investing in the company. He's a personal friend. He lives a few hours away from me. He's an amazing guy. He listens to my harebrained, crazy-ass ideas. Like, he doesn't laugh at me when I'm like, hey, I got an idea for an intake adapter where people can do a DIY throttle body. Or, hey, let's do a PCV relocation kit. And I come to him with that, and he's like, yeah, we can do that. And then he makes it happen. So spend the money and get the Merc Racing one. They're not even priced bad. They're cheaper than most of the big name brands out there, and they perform better than all of them. All right, guys, once I finish my beer, I'm going to go watch F1. So if you got questions, hit me with it. Yeah, it really is. Can't say enough good things about Jose. And if any of you come to Alpine Volks Fair, he'll be there. Jose and I are sharing a condo. I'm bringing my kid this year. I'm super stoked. It's my kid's first time going to a really, really big car show. And he's super, super excited. I'm taking him to a concert in Columbia, South Carolina that Thursday night to go see his favorite metal band. And then we'll head into Helen first thing on Friday morning and hang out with the boys. Can't wait to see all my friends. The CWA 100 is not needed. The CWA 100 upgrading your coolant pump in general is like the cherry on top, so to speak. It's not going to reduce your IATs, but what it will do is allow your IATs to recover much faster and delay the climb a little bit. So I would do the heat exchanger first, divorce the coolant setup, and do custom coolant lines. Like, I've got a whole video on that. If you watch my divorced video, it's an hour long. It's a long one, but I'm like super detailed on that one to make sure you guys can understand what I'm doing. But I deleted all the OEM restrictive coolant lines and went to much thicker coolant lines, so I got a lot more fluid moving. But then at the end, upgrading the coolant pump itself is, like I said, the cherry on top when it comes to your cooling mods. Yes, divorcing the loop is 10 times better than getting an upgraded coolant pump. What up, Aaron? Welcome to the club, man. Any recommendations for shops in the Charlotte area? I think Eurofed's over there, and I think GMP is in the area. So Eurofed and GMP, I know, are two good shops over there. So check those guys out. Yeah, STL. The S6 heat exchanger on Merc Racing is an 8-pass loop, or I'm sorry, it's an 8-pass heat exchanger. And then their 3OT one, the one that's like his traditional size, that's a 6-pass. And so yeah, it's more than any of them or any of the competitors out there. I'm sure somebody will copy it eventually, but yeah. The 150 is not overkill. I have the 150 on my car. I had the 100. That year, there was a batch of 100s that went bad really early. And so when mine went bad, Jose wanted me to test out the 150 to see how it was. So I installed it. It's a little bit more of a pain in the ass to install because you have to upgrade a fuse to run it. And, you know, that takes like an extra 20 minutes on a C7. I got a video on that as well. But in terms of performance-wise, I haven't really noticed any difference. So yeah, so it's one of those, just get whichever one's more affordable, the one that you can get a hold of. And yeah, it is higher pressure, but still I haven't seen any major difference between running both of them. Curious if I'm gonna hear from this Todd guy. I'll post it up in the on Instagram and stuff. Like I said, if Todd doesn't claim it this week, then sometime after next Saturday, I'll do another one of these and we'll see if someone else wins. Missed your question there, Sipin. So Sipin, I know that with Jackal, I don't know how you would call it. Matt can chime in on this. With their tune, they disable the clutch, I'm pretty sure, but still, you can still have issues with it. So yeah, if you are going to modify the car, get the clutch delete, get the original from Garage Autosports. Don't get the 034 one. You don't want the build materials they're using. You want the good one from Garage Autosports. All right, guys, I'm almost done with my beer, so get those last few questions in. There you go. I really should buy a Crec car just to have it to do videos with. I can't believe I don't have one local to me that I can mess with. Ooh, this is an exciting one. I'm going to have a whole video series on 4OT stuff coming up soon. Me and Tyler Hayes. For those of you that don't know, Tyler Hayes, he's the guy that did my headlights. And for those of you that have never seen them up close, let's see here. Look at that carbon fiber. Oh, it's so beautiful. Sorry about the bad light glare. Let's see if this is any better over here. Nope, need a polarizing filter. Anyways, my very, very good friend Tyler Hayes, he runs the Instagram page Void Carbon. He does amazing wheels. He builds gorgeous wheels, but he does custom carbon fiber work and headlight work. We've been stockpiling parts for his S7. His S7 is, for the most part, stock. We've already installed lowering links on it from TGK Motorsports. We installed their dump box on it. He's got wheels on it, and it came with a little bit of an exhaust, but we are about to throw like $4,000 worth of shit at his car, and we're going to try and do it all in one weekend. But we should be able to have a few good DIY videos for the 4OT crowd, because this channel's been desperately needing some 4OT content. So excited for that. And no, Jim Jack, they don't sell DIY kits. It's all custom work, and it's not easy. I helped him take apart my headlights, and just to get the lens off took almost 45 minutes on each headlight. That wasn't including cleaning out the channels afterwards to get ready to put the new lens in, because you destroy the lens trying to get it out. You have to replace the lens, and then all that stuff on the inside, that's not a DIY thing. Mystic, yeah, I'm sure, or Mr. Electric, I'm sure he wouldn't. Boogeyman, where are you at exactly now? You're down in Florida, right? The VPS supercharger, someone asked about that. Jackal can talk about that more in depth. I've heard they run hot. Aaron James, you can go do the pre-order right now. The pre-order is live. If you go to my Instagram and look at the pinned post, one of the newest pinned posts, you'll see a picture of it. If you click that, there's information on it. And if you click the link in my Instagram profile, it's got a link to the pre-order site. So pre-orders are out. The pre-orders are going to be going on until the end of the month. So the last day of March. After that, the price will go up to full. I'm going to get a prototype of it in the mail this Monday, and I got to bench test the water meth port, make sure that's working correctly, and then eventually he'll get them, once the pre-order's done, he'll get the first casting of them made and get them out. Oh, that's not too bad, Boogeyman. So to get to Helen from South Alabama, that's probably, what, like an 8-hour drive for you? That's, people come from Texas. People come from Canada to Alpine Volks Fair. Got to do it once, man. It's one of my favorite shows. Nick Chang asked, what is the optimal upgrade path for suspension? That's a good question. I know rear bar, a bunch of understeer. Okay, so yeah, if I were to take a brand new C7 and decide I'm just going to modify suspension, and I'm going to do it one part at a time, like one part a month, what would be the first thing I do? The first question I've asked to ask, am I on just OEM regular suspension or do I have the OEM sport suspension? If I have the OEM sport suspension, I'm just going to throw H&R Sport Springs on it. They ride great, and they lasted like 4 years before my OEM Sport shocks blew out. One of the best mods I did was installing the Bilstein B8 shocks that, oh man, the car handles so nice with that. The rear sway bar is a huge difference. Front sway bar, you're not going to notice. I have an upgraded front sway bar in mine, and I didn't notice any difference with that one, but the rear sway bar, I noticed a big difference. Kind of going along the same lines, we'll talk suspension and drivetrain. The JXB Performance drive shaft carrier is one of the best bangs for your bucks you can get. It's going to make your shifts feel 10 times better. The car just feels 10 times more planted on the ground when you're giving it power. And then doing your differential inserts, and this might be one of the first things I would do because they're so cost effective. You can get a whole transmission and differential insert mount insert kit for 150 bucks, something like that. I know Eurocode sells them, TGK sells them. Almost everyone has a version of them. And they don't take long to install, and they clean up a lot of the slop in the drivetrain. C7s with the ZF8, the first to second, second to first shift, the upshift, downshift is notoriously rough, and the JXB drive shaft carrier and those inserts, they don't eliminate it completely, but they drastically reduce it on top of just making all your other shifts feel amazing. So, yeah. I don't think Craig came in the D4s in the United States. Or, Saipan says otherwise. Oh, so it did. Okay, cool. I didn't realize that. Nice. I'm not familiar outside of the A6s and A7s which cars came with the Crec in the United States, because overseas you can get S4s with them. Mad Scientist, when you say B8s, are you talking about the B8 H&R Sport Springs? Because if I'm not mistaken, they're going to have a different spring load compared to the C7. I don't think they're the same. I'm sure you could run them, but I'm not sure if they're the exact same. Saipan, talk to Matt from Jackal. Talk to Jackal Motorsports about your Crec stuff. They're the only company currently developing and investing in the Crec engine, and they're doing really awesome stuff with it. So talk to him. They're going to be able to steer you in the right direction. And yeah, Nick, same thing, man. It'll follow the same pathway for S4, S5, whichever one you got. So they offer the S4 with the Crec overseas. I don't know if it came with the ZF8 or not. Mad Scientist, yeah, the shocks between the B8s and the C7s are the same, because in fact my B8, my Bilstein B8 shocks came off of a B8.5 S5 actually. They only had like 5,000 miles on them. All right, guys, I'm done with my beer. Any other questions? Let's see here. Craig Hansen, currently welding a new exhaust setup in an attempt to rid the rasp, going single 3.5-inch pipe at the stock to the mid pipes with stock baby resonators, suitcase delete, and MagnaFlow muffler. Good luck, man. A lot of people have had good luck with the 3-inch single pipe after the mid pipes. Some people split it back out to 2 mufflers in the rear. The baby resonators on the stock mid pipes don't do a lot. If you still have issues, I would replace those with vibrant, ultra quiet resonators, and you'll be good to go. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. Like I said, congrats to Todd Henson. He's the one that won the giveaway tonight. If I don't hear from him within this week, I will announce another giveaway and we'll try it again. But thank you to the new channel members that joined through this. Really, really appreciate you guys. Don't forget to send me that DM to get the link to the private Telegram chat so that you can join in on the fun over there. And yeah, guys, I will catch you on the next video. Make sure you check out the video tomorrow morning. I think it's just over 5 minutes. It's not a big one. It's a pretty simple one, but if you have aftermarket exhaust, this might be something that you need to be aware of because that exhaust rattle is a nightmare with the OEM brace. But awesome, guys. Enjoy the weekend. I'm going to go watch some F1. You like that picture, huh? I don't know if Carter's in here. Love that picture, man.